Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Universus Academy podcast. Today, I am your host, Ryan Kraft. I have with me Matt Childress and a very special guest, Chris Smith, aka Brody Wan, if you see him on Discord. You may notice that we're missing John Jennings once again. After about, 8,000 hours of streaming over the weekend and commentating on the event, he's tuckered out. He's probably napping with his kid right now. So,
I think his
well,
internet's just done. Like, there's no more internet left for him. He can't
yeah,
access it.
he
I
used it
actually
all
think his
up.
wife changed the Wi-Fi password. I think I have some inside knowledge that he has no internet access anymore.
That
So
explains why we
sorry.
haven't heard from him since the event ended. So that explains that.
Right.
But anyways, today we're gonna talk about our quick thoughts on the tournament, how we did, how we liked the event, and maybe a quick touch on what we think of the results, and then we're just gonna hop into some previews. Welcome back, everyone, and now let's talk about this tournament. Um, so we all three played. I'm gonna be real. I scrubbed out. I played a deck that I wasn't sure about playing in the first place. I played Earth Kamui Woods. I went like 2-1, and then dropped. So, but I gave somebody a win pretty much. So I went 2-3 really. Um, yeah. I won't be making that mistake again. I don't have a lot to say about the event as far as my performance, but I thought the tournament got run really smoothly. The rounds were fairly punctual, except when we had people ignoring the timer and playing deep into overtime for no reason, and the judges had to get involved. But that portion of the tournament I thought went really well. Matt, how'd you do, and did you have any observations about the tournament?
Sure. Yeah. So, I had a great time as well. Like, I enjoyed the tournament. It was very large. Like, that would be the first takeaway, right? Like, when you get in that Discord channel, that's a lot of tables to scroll through. So it was a little challenging for someone who's less savvy with Discord like myself to navigate. I played in the weekly, so I kind of understood the premise, but yeah, like it that was one logistical hurdle. And I think that's just a product of expanding it and doubling the size of the event, right? Like, if it were half the size, then there'd be half the tables. But yeah, like, I mean, as far as actual play with my opponents, it was great. I had a lot of fun. I didn't feel like, I know a lot of people were like, oh, on webcams people are going to cheat. I never felt like there was even really an opportunity for my rival to cheat. And to be fair, man, I'm one of those people, like, if you're going to cheat me in the game when we're playing, it's just, I mean, tournament literally was just going to give you buys. Like, there's nothing on the line there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're cheating at that point, then that's on you, not on me. I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I had a great time. Played against some people that I already knew, met some new really cool people. Played with the dude that I traded some cards with, so that was really cool. We had a great game. Like, and just kind of, to me, it was more about the experience of getting back into the community, right? Like, that's the reason I play this game. It's what I've always loved about this game. In addition to the mechanics of the game itself, is the community, and it felt really good to do that. First round was against a friend that I hadn't gotten to play cards with probably in 3 years or more now. And then he had another buddy who was in the room who was like, "Oh, wait, you're playing with Matt?" And he came over, and then we talked for a few minutes after our game. Like, it was just awesome,
Cool.
and that's what I love about the game. And yeah, webcam didn't really alter that for me. So overall, I'd say good. As far as my performance, I ended up 3-3 before I dropped. I got in a situation where I was 3-2, and I had to win out to have any chance going. Like, 6-2, you could potentially make it into top cuts. And my opponent and I were game 3 all the way down to the wire. And he just kind of ends up eking it out just a little bit. So end up going 3-3. I was pleased with my deck. Unlike you, I played the good All Might version 3 All Might. I've been playing that deck for a while. I really enjoy it. It performed well. There was one game where I got, like, literally the worst opening hands I've ever seen, and I mulled 3 times. Yeah, it happens. But yeah, outside of that, it performed well, and I feel like it's a solid A tier deck, probably maybe lower A tier, depending on what the rest of the meta shakes out to be. But I didn't feel like I was hopelessly out of any match.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm
So
How
you
about
and
you,
I both
Chris?
scrubbed out. Chris actually played pretty well. Were you five,
Oh,
2-1?
yeah, 5-2-1. Yeah, yeah.
How'd
I
that go?
uh, I have a sordid history of having a deck all the way up until the night before, and then I automatically change it because I'm never very confident in things. I struggled all week with my choice. I went from like a Choco 2 to a Choco 1 to a Racerhead to a Choco 2 again. And then I was just like, well, I pulled them out late in my weekly packs from, I believe, somewhere. I forget where I got them in the mail. I ripped them open. I'm like, ooh, cool. And then a buddy of mine had one. And then another buddy of mine had another one. And then I'm like, if we can get a fourth one, we're building this thing tonight and I'm playing it. So we got all of them ready, built it the night before, slammed out 4 games, let my buddy play another game with it. And he's like, I don't see any problems with it. It's basically Kirishima with, with Mountain Lady on top of it. So um, I went with the deck. It was great. First round, played Brad Townsley, someone I knew, because that's just the way it goes. Out of 200 million people, we play people we know.
Mm-hmm.
Every round was great. There's only really one round I felt kind of outmatched. That was just because I played against a character I think is better than my character. But otherwise, Mountain Lady, I think actually a lot of people were dogging her to begin with, but I think she's really good just because the snap momentum, and then I can play reverse throws for 1,000,000 damage, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The tournament, uh, like Matt said, was just massive. It was just the biggest event I think ever in Jasco's at least in Jasco history. It's the biggest event, I believe.
Probably so. I think that's an accurate statement.
Carter ran it pretty well. Like the way they announced the pairings, the way pairings were up timely. We just ran round by round by round. It was really weird not having a lunch break, but being at home, 5 minutes away, 5 steps from my kitchen and my bathroom was awesome. Not gonna lie, I love the webcam feel. Being not spending money on travel at all is great. And I only got one gripe, and it's a small gripe, and it's probably first world problems. Is the timer thing has to change, where you either have to have an on. I don't know how they can do it, where they can have an on-screen timer for everybody, which would be kind of weird. But you have to use the app to actually find the timer, unless you use the Discord channel, which can disconnect you from your room if you click it wrong. So you kind of need to be careful. So it'd just be easier to have an easier way to time, I guess.
Yeah, if there was like some sort of like plug-in that someone could create, and I don't know if this
Mhm.
would even work in Discord. Ryan and I were theory crafting this right after the event because
Yeah.
that was one of my concerns as well. Like,
Okay.
a couple games go to time, and then the
Mhm.
bonus time, and I was like, I
Yeah.
can't check this easily. Like, I'm trying to watch what they're doing. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not making a misplay and missing a window,
Mhm.
but then I'm also like clicking away to see this. Like, and our solution was exactly what you described: have it open on your phone or on a separate instance
Yep.
of Discord or on an app or something. And it's not ideal for sure.
We could just get Kevin Broberg to design it. He designed his own app for the tournament. It was nuts. Like he had
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know if you saw him. He had because on half of his screen was the life, the damage, the speed. It was crazy and just like cool, but can we shrink it because you could barely see his field. Like you couldn't
right.
see his cards on the field because it was just so massive. But it was a good way to kind of get through the whole I can't see your cards. What are the stats of it? I've seen
Yeah.
people
Right.
use giant die, like they use giant foam die, like one red, one blue to delineate speed and damage or whatever.
Mhm.
But I guess like you got to kind of take away from this is if you're coming to like I guess you consider this a pro level event. It's not like the pro league championship, but it's a travel
So
event. So
yeah, it's a big
consider
event.
it. Yeah, it's a big event. You should know what cards do, even if you don't play them, just by the picture. I know we're all vets of the game. You can probably name cards from the past. Like I know what it does just by the picture.
Mhm.
Like Iori 2, you guys can probably I know Matt can probably read it. Jack Lamborn, that is all old
Right,
stuff for you young kids that you don't know anything about. But
right.
like Midoriya, Bakugo, agitation, coordinated effort, stuff like that. You should be able
Right.
to know what it does just by looking at the picture.
Mhm.
And it comes with time and how many games you play. But
Yeah,
overall, 9 out of 10 for the event because it doesn't replace sitting across from your friend playing cards. Like,
right.
it doesn't,
And
it will never replace in-person events. But from what I've heard is that they're going to use these webcam events to supplement the real life events because not everybody can spend that much money to travel, and it opens up the field to so many more players, obviously. Because if you think this was an in-person event, let's say like in Vegas, I guarantee you'd have been half the people.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
Easily.
100-ish or so probably.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, I
So
I
think the
wouldn't have been
biggest
in Vegas.
PTC was what, like 60 to 80 people before? The biggest
mhm.
PTC, I think?
Yeah, mine was 76, and then Omaha beat me by 5 at 81. So
Okay, yeah, I was
Nice.
thinking it was about 80 people.
yeah.
So, yeah, so I would definitely echo if I were going to offer besides the timer, the one other thing that was I thought was really rough was because of the size of the tournament, having 8 rounds consecutively. And you're not wrong. Like being at home, I got done early one round and I was able to run downstairs and like slam a sandwich together and try to scarf it down. But like
Mhm.
all my other rounds went to almost time. So like finding an opportunity even to go use the restroom because they were so punctual and moving it along was really challenging. And I just would have liked to have had like even if it was just like a 30-minute break in between rounds, like nothing, not an hour because you're at your
Mhm.
house, but 20,
Yeah.
30 minutes, something, just as a designated time to kind of,
Like in the middle of like maybe like round 4, round 5, just
yeah,
like
after
bathroom
round
break,
3
hit
or
it.
4, somewhere around there. Yeah. And again, that's not, I made it work, but I'm saying like if I were going to look at it like the timer and that would be things that I would try to figure out a way to improve for the general webcam experience.
Mhm.
Just because then I think you really do start to eliminate any real complaints that people could have as a difference between the two formats outside of,
Sure.
again, like we said, it's webcam. It's not going to replace the interaction. And
Mm.
like I had to ask my rival one time, hey, how many copies of this are in your discard pile? Instead of just asking them, can I look at your discard pile? Like you
Right.
can adapt your conversation, you can adapt your play to accommodate all those
Mhm.
things easily. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it was a good
overall,
event.
the tournament
Did
went really smoothly. I think I was happy with everything.
mhm.
They So I know you talked about Broberg's setup for a second. Broberg, if you listen to this for any reason, I have a suggestion for you. Make it horizontal, man. It ain't got to be vertical and take up half your screen. Put it at the top and make it go this
Mhm.
way, and just put all the
And
information on there, and then send
And
it to
while you're
me.
tasking Broberg with new things, hey, Broberg, if you can figure out how to make a timer that we can all download and install that doesn't steal our identities, that'd be awesome, man. I would totally appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True,
I would totally appreciate
true.
that. So, and I know he can do it. I know he can. I've
Did
met that man.
did any of you guys have any sick plays for this weekend? I know Ryan, I know the results weren't in
Yeah,
your
dude.
what you wanted to be, but did you guys have any cool plays over the weekend that you were like,
Dude,
this is awesome. I mean, this is why I play the game is to do stuff like this
bro,
cuz,
my last round I played, like game 3, time was getting really close to running out, and I just scooped my cards up. That was my sickest play of the weekend.
Fair enough.
What about you, Matt?
I mean, I had some really cool capture evildoer plays.
Oh,
Like
sick.
like
Okay.
I won one game where basically like I had to kill him that turn. End up
Mhm.
going in like 3 attacks deep, capture evildoers, clear them all out, go in to like 3 more, and he was like, "Well, I guess you just do it." I was like, "Yeah, man, you're very dead."
Yeah.
And then my last round, he was going in and he had one momentum. It was an Uraraka, and I had capture evildoers and then 2+1 high blocks in my hand. I was like, "We about to get live. Like, we're gonna steal this one
Yeah.
momentum, and then you're not gonna be able to do your stuff. You're going to find another way." It was cool. It was fun.
That's cool. I love that. I have a serious love-hate relationship with Capture Evildoers. I love to play it. I get furious when I get captured. I get
Yep.
so mad, especially if I have like one momentum and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this with like capture the evildoers, and I'm just like,
Did you have
uh,
Yep.
any sweet plays, Chris?
I in one round I had 3 cards left in my deck. One was a plus ultra, and I needed the plus ultra to win the game. I destined for mainstream success, and I'm like, well, I got a 1 in 3 chance, bud. And I go action. What? I was like, ah, yeah. I dabbed on screen, made some
Yeah,
moves. Yeah. I was like, see
So
my
hilarious.
you know
hands,
what's
they're
super
clear.
awesome?
It was cool. And then I played a reverse throw with a Texas Smash on top of it, and I was like, okay, yeah. And then I dumped 8 more damage with Mount Lady, and I'm like, you did, son.
You
Yeah,
real dead.
That's
yeah.
like
So what's
26
super
damage to
awesome
throw.
is when they play into deadlock and you have Desperate for Mainstream Success and Coordinated Effort in play, because then you always get to see your top card. Got to do
Uh-huh.
that first round. It was a life Asui, and and Matt built all the way out and to deadlock he had to because he kept whiffing on draws, and I was like, cool. Destin, name attack. Nope, look, no my check. Unflip it. Hey, Destin, on the next one, attack. Oh, look, I drew another attack. Hey, unflip it. Like it
Oh,
is
that's
dumb.
broken.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that was a lot
But
of
yeah,
fun.
I guess my last takeaway from the event, other than the results, is I hope people realize that these webcam events are here to stay, and it's time if you're going to play in these things to invest in your setup a little bit, because I've seen so many terrible cameras, terrible
Hmm.
setups. Just like you clearly haven't tested it out. It's no one can tell anything that's going on. You got to
Yeah.
size this much space that we can see, and you're trying to stuff all your cards into it. Like it's
Sure.
rough, man.
Well,
Like take some time, invest in this because it's gonna keep happening. It's
Yeah.
not going
Oh, for
anywhere.
sure. I want to say there's plans for webcam nationals as well as in real life
mhm,
nationals. So and I know that they're going to do. There's a UK. There's plans for like European Nats and stuff, but that's going to be via webcam. And I don't. It's just crazy because it opens up a
Yeah,
whole nother facet, right, of
mhm.
what they can do, and they're just not like landlocked to hey, these are the locations that we can hold these events because let's be real. There's not going to be enough space everywhere for a 300 man event. It just There just
Right.
isn't right now.
Garrett
Right
doesn't have to
now.
actually cross country borders anymore to go and win cardboard. He just gets to do it from the comfort of his house.
I mean, Garrett's MIA. We have no idea what's happened to him.
Like,
So
I'm just saying.
I joked with Corey. He's married, probably has 10 kids now, and training them to win cardboard. So
Well, he has to have at least 12, one for each symbol.
oh, okay, right.
Hilarious.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, and their names all start with the first letter of the symbol.
Yes.
There's a lot of A's.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a few A's. Yes, there's a few A's.
They're actually just named air, all, chaos, order. Come on, let's go.
Oh yeah.
Decimus
named
Behaven,
Death.
let's get.
The kid named
So-
Death
No,
has
I
got
agree,
a long
with
future ahead of
Ryan,
him.
though. I totally agree with you, Ryan. They're here to stay, and I know it's kind of like, hey, old man, get off the porch, but I'm the old man and I'm playing, so all you people younger than me should be playing because I figured it out.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
So I don't want to jump into the results too much and like talk about that for the next hour, but obviously the top 16, there was 8 Kirishimas in the top 16. There was 4 Kirishimas left in the top 4, which obviously left a Kirishima finals. And surprisingly, Kirishima didn't win the event. It was
Surprisingly, I mean,
yeah,
I think
I don't know how it
want to say, I want to say, someone on the show said he was going to bet against the field than Kirishima.
I did. Yeah, and I'll own up to
Wasn't this
that,
guy?
man. No, it wasn't. You said that there would be like 150 Kirishimas in the event or something.
And people let me down because there should
I
have
know,
been.
right? I know.
Yeah.
We were
So
let
yeah,
down.
listen, if I could go back in time, I would still take the field against Kirishima because
That's fair.
odds are that the field's gonna win.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no,
220 to 30. You're
That being said,
Okay.
I think. Go ahead.
Did you guys were you expecting more Kirishimas? I know Matt was because he said 100. I don't know if he was actually serious about 150.
I wasn't going to be surprised if it was like 100, like if half the field
Yeah.
was actually Kirishima.
Seriously, yeah. I honestly thought it was going to be over half the field was going to be Kirishima because obviously everybody kind of knows that he's really good, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you have your people who are like, well, I'm not going to play the meta deck. I'm always going to play the anti. I don't want to play what everyone else is playing.
Right.
But dude, I'm sorry, it's for money now. Like you play what you feel is the best deck. Period. Now you don't play cutesy wootsy stuff anymore. You come to win. You don't come just to. Well, I'm playing for promos. Well, don't even show up because you can redeem those things now. You know, you're wasting someone's spot. So you know.
Yeah, I definitely.
Sorry if that's harsh, but that's just the way I feel about it.
No, that's totally fine. Like I definitely didn't expect there to be half the field. I expected there to be a lot. I expected there to be more than 40, maybe like double that. I thought maybe like 80. But hey, it didn't matter. Like they got 8 in the top 16. All the best players, not all, but a lot of the best players were playing Kirishima, so that goes a long way. But I mean, I think
there was a lot of good. There was a lot of new names in there too.
There were.
You had the DBS World Champion. You had Alliteration Gaming. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on names because I don't know names. I just know tags. So hashtag old man don't remember anything. But yeah, like you had your old heads, your Broberg, your Nixon. You know, Bromley was in there with a Water Kamui Woods, which I lost to on a Wednesday weekly that week, and that deck is sick. And
it is sick. Yeah.
What Broberg said was if he wouldn't have been paired against the Earth version of Kirishima, Bromley probably had a good chance of winning the whole thing because that deck shits on, sorry, bad words, craps all over the good and void version of Kirishima just because of its tech options and its pieces.
Yeah.
But the Earth version just flips everything because of apathetic and
it feels bad.
Regen, and you just live forever and flip all the crap. So
yeah. So I think we've officially seen what we need to see from the Kirishima package, whether he or Coordinated or Hardened Jab get any changes made to him, it is yet to be seen. But I imagine something happens to at least one of those cards sometime soon.
We'll see. Who knows? We may not see anything until after. You know, maybe people start playing stuff that actually techs against him, you know, or plays decks that can. Because I think, not to get too deep into it, but I think if you can race him, you win because he just can't kill you turns 2 and 3, right?
Right. The way you need to play against Kirishima is you have to make Kirishima aggressively use his ability and debuild himself. It's just like in the show, right? Like he can't harden forever. He exhausts himself, and then he just doesn't have the resources to push forward. I understand it's still a challenge. You know, like you still got to find the attacks when you whiff on an attack turn, and you can't put that pressure up. Even further, you can't just poke into him. Like you have to put 2, 3+ attacks together. It's challenging, and And even further, then when you play a good player like a Broberg or some of these other people that we've named who all made top cuts with it, that's going to be even more challenging.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's how you play against that character. You can't slow roll him.
Yeah.
And that's why I
Does
played All
not
Might.
work.
Like All Might has
Yeah.
I feel like a 50-50 in that matchup. Like every time we tested it, I was like, I never felt out of the game. Even when I played against it in the tournament, like I won that matchup. Like you can do it. It's just depending on your character. And
Yeah.
that's why I told everyone, I was like, if you're not playing a character and go 50-50 with Kirishima, you're probably not playing a good enough
Backed up.
character.
One of the big things with Mountain Lady is like he has no throw hate. So if I
Mhm.
can start dumping 6, 7, 8, not 12 damage on throws, I'm gonna get him eventually.
Yeah.
Right.
Issue is he can still outpace the deck that I was playing. So I sided into Kirishima because the deck was basically a Kirishima deck with someone else fronting it. So
Right.
Mhm.
um, no
I totally had
hashtag.
Kirishima on my board also.
Okay,
So
okay, yeah. So
it's for the
like
Nova
why
matchup.
not?
Yeah.
Like the funny thing is too is like the two games I never sided into him. I won 2-0, which one
Mhm.
was an eraser head. I believe no one. I went 2-1 against the eraser, which is really weird because Mount Lady should never win that matchup because he erases me. She's blank. So I won
Mhm.
that matchup 2-1, I believe. It might have been against the same guy. Was the guy you talked to your buddy that you had who had the same dude in the room playing eraser
Oh,
as
no, no.
well?
Oh, no, that was Matt McDonald or McDaniel and Andrew Alexa. That's who I was talking
Oh,
about
okay.
earlier. Yeah.
Okay, it was two other. Okay, so there was two other guys. One guy was playing Eraserhead, and his buddy was playing 5 feet away from him, and I could hear their game going. But they
Oh,
were playing at their own. They were playing at their own store, which was really weird. So I don't
Hilarious.
know. Whatever. I just asked him to mute him when he wasn't saying anything, so I could hear myself talk because I couldn't hear myself talk. But whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
But the reason why I chose Mountain Lady is because one, she's awesome, and two is like she gets snap momentum and she can put damage on stuff, and that's what you have to do with Kirishima: is string tons of damage together over a turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he doesn't like really, really big attacks. Like
correct.
Detroit Smash is hurt.
Yeah.
Other things that do 6+ damage starting and above. He
Mhm.
can't just reduce down for 2 and take it. So
Yeah,
um,
like Broberg showed in the finals, like you just dump speed on stuff and he can't do anything. Like
right, he gets concerned.
he gets very concerned on when you get a giant reciprocal acceleration kick to your face, to your kneecaps
Yeah.
because it's a low for
Mhm.
like a million speed.
Sweep the
Yeah.
leg.
Yeah. Let's okay, cool. So your thoughts. Okay, so do you because I know a lot of people were dogging the reciprocal acceleration kick when it first was shown.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know because it's a
That card's
5 diff
awesome.
combo. I don't know
Who
why
gives a
that card
shit?
is
That card's
insane.
great.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I think that card shares a slot with Reciprocal Burst in a lot of lists.
Yeah.
And that's why, to me, it's normally one or the other. Like you're not running 4 of both of them, right? So like what I
No.
did, like I have that card in my Void Eraser deck, and I run it as a 1 or 2x, and then the other 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 are Reciprocal Burst. Um,
Sure.
and like what the reason my logic there was is Eraser needs to clear out its card pool. Sometimes to put longer chains together, that card lets you do that. It also gives you some disruption. So yeah, no, I think that card's fine. It just doesn't add a ton of damage to itself like Reciprocal Burst does, and that I think makes it less appealing to a lot of players because
Sure.
you want to throw up big numbers when you're going all in like that, and
Mhm.
that card doesn't do that. But it gets unruly, and it also lets you clear your card pool on symbols that don't do that normally.
Yeah.
Now, I think the real star though is the high engine kick. I think that card is stupid good.
Yeah, it's just filters.
The card is fantastic.
Yeah.
It
Oh
lets you
yeah.
cycle and you get speed on it. It's
What
Yeah.
was we saw an Earth kick get previewed recently. I can't remember what it was though, because I remember seeing it and I was like, man, Earth kicks are gonna be real dumb soon.
because you
I
get
just
frenzy, you have that. And I was dumb because I was like, oh boy, I'm not playing frenzy in my void, whatever. And I'm like, I'm stupid because reciprocal extend makes that thing a million damage. I'm dumb. It's like you
yeah.
teach some
Or
old dogs new tricks every now and then. So
maybe it was a
yeah.
character that did something with kicks. I can't remember what it was, but I remember it was like, man, Earth is gonna be stupid. But anyways, anyone got any
Yeah,
final thoughts on the
congratulations to
tournament?
Kevin though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Kevin for
Well
Good
that.
job,
earned. Well
Broberg.
earned.
Well earned, man.
Well earned.
Wire to
So
wire, too. No
yeah,
Swiss
right.
champ curse.
Hey,
Yeah.
you get to play first throughout the finals or through the top 16, so that goes a long way.
I'm surprised they kept that rule though. I didn't think they were going to keep that rule from standard. I actually
That's an
didn't think they
awesome
were going
rule.
to keep.
They should keep it forever.
Well, I mean, it makes okay. So it makes people play instead of ID in the last round. So it gives those people in the bubble like hope, I guess, which
Yeah.
is cool. So, but
And
I don't know.
also,
I guess IDs have its place in everywhere, but I don't like it. I think you should play it out just because. Yeah,
yeah, if there was any
I'm
like
old
meaningful
school.
way of enforcing that on every table, I think they would, but it's just tough. But anyways, that being said, I think we're gonna wrap up our tournament reactions there, and we're gonna go on to some previews. We'll see you guys in just a moment.